Now, Aston Villa didn't get the result they wanted at Old Trafford at the weekend, but they played well again. And it's not all about Jack Grealish anymore, is it? I think it's about time we maybe talk about John McGinn being one of the most influential midfielders in the Premier League. Do you think he just needs to get a little bit more attention now?
Well, if you were to ask the actual Villa fans, they would be telling you that they were speaking about him for years.
Yeah.
When they came up, he was yes, it was Jack, but it was him as well. And they said that the two of them together dragged them through hard times at times. McGinn obviously had his really serious injury, and you can't just come back straight away. You need to build yourself up, and this is why you're seeing the best of him now, because it's taken a while for him to get to this point, and now he's showcasing what everyone was talking about, all Villa fans anyway, that he's arguably one of the best in the league at what he does.
Yeah, it's mad to think they signed him for what, £2.5 million a couple of years ago. So how much would he be worth now? There's been talk of Man United being interested, and people have said 50 million, haven't they?
Well, now we're pushing it. No, look, I think at the end of the day, when you're looking at what people are going for now, you never know. But 40 plus, at least.
So he's one of those players who can do everything, isn't he? He's not just a passer of a ball, is he? He's not someone who can just spray it from side to side. He's got that brilliant technical ability. He can win the ball. He's a good tackler. He's got a good shot on him. And it must just be a dream midfielder to have in your team.
Yeah, definitely. Again, he's showing his array. It's not just, like you say, not just box to box and getting your foot in. Can you, once you get your foot in, can you find that pass? And yes, he can. Then, once you get your foot in, can you find that longer pass? Yes, he can. And then, all right, can you be on the front foot, nick a ball and score a goal? Yeah, he can do that as well. So he's giving you everything, really. He's giving you 9s out of 10s on most things.
And another guy who's given his team 9 out of 10 every week at the moment is Bukayo Saka, who's been the bright spark in a disappointing season for Arsenal. And watching him play at the weekend, is he the most exciting young Englishman around at the moment, do you think? Or should we talk about Foden and Greenwood?
I think he's one of them. He's one of them. And he's got the most difficult tasks, to be honest with you, because he's playing in a team that's lacking confidence. He's playing in a team that aren't playing well. But he's still standing out.
Yeah.
He's still putting in performances. So he's the one that I'll pick out a lot of them, because when you look at Foden and Everton, Man City control possession, have a lot of the ball. Yes, they might not capitalise on the possession that they have, but they still have a lot of the ball. They still move it. And when you're talking about Arsenal, a lot of them, when it's difficult times, they're hiding.
Yeah.
They're not getting the results that they want, but he still stands out ahead of everyone. So for me, he's the one that is a standout performer of the young lads.
Where do you think his future holds? Do you think he's a winger, or do you think he's maybe more of a central player?
He can play in either. I wouldn't even like pigeonhole him. I would say, well, this game needs that energy in midfield. But I need you to do X, Y, and Z. I need you to drive past players from this central bit. All right, but now this game, I need you wide, dropping in, probably on the right hand side, dropping your shoulder and having shots. And then the next game, it might be wide left, where you're actually whipping balls in. I wouldn't even, because you've got to remember, he played left wing back and left back.
Yeah.
So he's another one of those players that plays in several different positions, doesn't really moan about it, and just gets on with it and does his best.
Yeah, I think the exciting thing at the weekend for Arsenal is that with the third goal, when West Brom tried to show him down the line, because obviously he's left-footed, isn't he? Didn't want him to cut inside and shoot. Takes on his right foot and just puts in a perfect cross with his right, and it just it shows the ability he's got with both feet, and it's so rare, isn't it, to see someone that confident, that young.
Well, it's all about confidence, isn't it? Again, I think if he didn't have that confidence, he would have checked back and probably passed it back. But no, he wants to take his man on.
Yeah.
And he's confident enough to swing his right foot at it, and he's got a decent enough right foot, as you see, crosses the ball the way they do.
And he wasn't the only Arsenal youngster to impress at the weekend. There was Emile Rowe, who's come into the team, and he just seems to have almost immediately given them that bit of verve and creativity and thrust that they've lacked. And when you see people like Isco linked, do you think just stick with Smith Rowe. You don't need to get someone in on a short-term loan deal and then give them back.
This is the thing with football at times. You want, from young lads, you want everything straight away, and they'll give you everything straight away, but that you need to give them time to actually perfect that, to keep the consistency.
Yeah.
So they're going to have 2 games where they've been brilliant, and then they might have 3 or 4 where they're not so, they're off the boil a little bit. But you're talking about 19-year-olds, you're talking about 18-year-olds. Give them a chance to form that consistency. And you'll see you don't need to go and spend 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 million at times. You've got it all in your youth development.
Yeah.
Arsenal's youth development's always been great, and you've seen it now with Saka. You just need the opportunity to play. He's their best player at this moment in time, a 19-year-old lad. You got Smith Rowe coming in and putting in performances that we all know he can do, but you got to give him the opportunity. You got to give him the chance. You got to give him the time to flourish, and you'll see the best coming out of them. You've seen, I think, Mesut Ozil even tweeted and said give Smith Rowe the opportunity. These are players that they see week in, week out, day in, day out. Know what they're capable of doing, but you've got to give them the opportunity and give them the chance to not fail, but have an off day.
Yeah. You'd think it'd be the last thing Ozil needs as well, because if he wants to get back in that team, Smith Rowe's going to push him further down the pecking order, isn't he?
But again, he's looking at the betterment of the team. He's looking at the betterment of Arsenal. He wants to see them doing well, and he's probably training with these young lads and enjoys watching them flourish. So he's saying, well, play him, keep playing him. He's good enough. Yeah.
And on to the team that Arsenal put to the sword at the weekend, West Brom. It was another difficult game for them. They haven't started particularly well under Allardyce. I know there's been a festive schedule, hasn't made it easy, and hasn't been much time on the training pitch. But do you think they need a centre forward, someone like an Andy Carroll who's been linked? You played with Allardyce at West Ham. Would he just get them up the pitch and give them an outball that they need?
Where do we start?
Yeah,
look, I think Andy Carroll would be a good addition, because again, when the back's against the wall, you need someone who's actually going to hold the ball up.
Yeah.
I've spoken to defenders before who played with me, and one of the things that they would say is, at least you hold the ball up, because again, if the ball keeps coming back, we get no respite.
Yeah.
Hold it up, get a foul, run it into the corner, create something, get a throw in so we can have a little breather, and then move up. If it keeps coming back, then you've got problems. So there's that case. Yes, he probably could. And then obviously, once you get a bit further up the field, crosses into the box, he'll go and attack them. But let's deal with that case first about holding the. Yeah, he could possibly be that option. But again, they need defenders.
Yeah.
When I say they need defenders, they need people who are actually going to defend and want to defend, and players that like to defend. Don't want to concede goals. Know how to stick close to their forward and don't give him an inch. They need extra work in midfield. Then I think they need to be a little bit fitter in midfield, because I would say if you're not technically as gifted as your opposition, you definitely need to be fitter than them. Them sort of things need to be addressed as well.
Yeah. I can't help feel a bit sorry for Calvin Grant as well, because he's been obviously asked to do the hold-up job, but he's just not that kind of striker, is he? He was brought by Bilic to run in behind people and to drift out wide, and it feels like a bit of a square peg in a round hole at the moment, even if it's not his own doing.
Again, I think it's if he's a forward that likes to run the channels, you can play on the wing.
Yeah.
And then you can play on the left wing and start making runs in behind that way. So there's always options. You can do it. You can change it up for them. But again, surely as defenders, you would have said, well, this ball keeps coming back. We need someone who's going to hold that ball up front.
Yeah.
The lad at Newcastle, Callum Wilson.
Yeah.
He does fantastic. Hold the ball up, run it into the channel, create a foul, get a throw in, but you're further up the pitch now. We can move up.
Yeah. I remember seeing that West Brom were linked with Ollie Watkins in the summer, and you just think how ideal he'd have been now for that system.
He would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
He would have been fantastic. Yeah, He's took me by surprise, to be honest, because I never knew much about him. But to come in and the way that he has and do what he's done, and it's not just his goals. There's games where he hasn't scored, and he's just tore them to bits.
Yeah.
And he's creating the chances for others because everyone starts to drop because of his pace.
Yeah.
Then you start to get midfield starts to get a lot more space, and then that's when Jack and everyone else can then start creating their chances. And McGinn.
Yeah. And then finally, just on to Youri Tielemans, who was brilliant again at the weekend. How far can he go now? Is he on the verge of becoming one of the Premier League's best midfielders, if he's not there already?
I think he had a lot of options before he went to Leicester, and everyone was a bit shocked when he actually chose Leicester. I think Spurs were one of them that were in for him. He's still a young lad. I think he's still only 23 or 24, but very composed in what he does. But this goes to show, giving kids the chance to play at a young age. I think he was captain from the age of 17 in Belgium or Holland.
Yeah,
or Belgium.
Anderlecht. Yeah.
Yeah. So giving him the chance to pay consistency for that period of time. Now he's 5 years into his career. This is what you get.
Yeah,
it's just it's normal for him, and everyone's looking at him thinking he's only 23, and how come he's doing so well? Because he's had so long to hone his craft, and he's fantastic at it, and he's playing with some good players around him as well that complement him as well. Indeed, he complements him. Mendy complements him. Maddison complements him, and they all play so well together that the managers manage to get them playing in a way that suits all of them.
Perfect. Well, in a couple of weeks, Leicester might be pushing for the Premier League title again. We don't know. It's a very strange, a very unpredictable season. If you like that, please like, share and subscribe, and we'll speak to you again on The Boot Room.